Hello and welcome to True Crime and Story Time. I am your host, Christy, and here we talk about a true crime or a story that either you recommended or one that I've been thinking about long and hard. Hey guys, welcome to episode 8. Are we on episode 8 already? Could be 7, who knows? Who knows? I lost count. I'll get it back, I promise. So I don't know how to begin this one because it's that peculiar. So you guys know, like when people say, "Oh, you can get a liver on the black market." What if you can get one on Facebook? What if you can get fingers and teeth and bone and brains on Facebook? That's exactly what we're talking about, no joke. Yeah, this guy basically bought human body parts on Facebook. And here we go. You know how they say never judge a book by its cover? I 1000% agree with that sentiment. However, looking at this book and what he's accused of, I would say we can most certainly judge a book by its cover. This is Jeremy Lee Pauly. He's a 40-year-old male out of Enola, Pennsylvania. He is a married man, and he is the director and curator of Memento Mori Museum and the owner of the Grand Wonder Kamer, which is a website that buys and sells oddities and, has guest speakers, events, and things like that. Mr. Pauly is also an artist. And from some of what I've read, he tends to make art out of blood. I don't know if it's human blood. I don't know if it's animal blood, but I know he supposedly, allegedly, makes art out of blood. He has been accused of doing some really weird stuff. I can't say it's heinous. I can't say it's disgusting, but not heinous. Yeah. So now that we know about Mr. Pauly, I can tell you that you are going to be blown away by what he's accused of. Mr. Pauly is buying body parts from Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. We are talking pelvis, skin, heart, lungs, children's skulls where their adult teeth haven't dropped yet. And all of this is being done by a woman named Candace Scott, who is stealing these body parts from her job and sending them from Arkansas to Pennsylvania. I joke around all the time about being in chronic pain, about how I just want to buy another body. And to know that you can literally buy body parts online, it's like, and supposedly, this is not the first time the officers went to his house. They went a month before in June, and they found actual legal purchases. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. So what I'm going to do is play the news clips, come back, and we're going to talk about it.
One caller actually called about these remains behind me in the house, and they say that they found buckets of human remains in the basement. That happened on July 8th. That's when police responded, and they conducted a search warrant. And when investigators got here, they say that they found 3 5-gallon buckets filled with 2 human brains, a heart, livers, skin, lungs, and a child mandible with teeth. Now, police say they later found that this was the home of 40-year-old Jeremy Pauly at one time, and they found that he was trying to buy additional human remains through Facebook Messenger from a woman in Arkansas. Police say the woman stole the body parts from a morgue in Arkansas, sold and shipped the items to Pennsylvania, then through the United States Postal Service. The packages were intercepted in Scranton through a joint operation conducted by FBI agents, USPS agents, and the Pennsylvania State Police. Now, District Attorney Sean McCormick, he says this is completely new territory for his office.
I've been doing this for over 30 years. This is the first case of this type. You know, I really, just when I think I've seen everything, something like this comes along.
Now, this is actually not the first time that Pauly was approached by police. Police say back in June, they actually got a report that he was selling human remains on Facebook. And they say that when they came to his home, they found 3 full skeletons and up to 20 human skulls. Now, at that time, the police say that it seemed that those artifacts were very old and actually legitimately purchased, so nothing happened at that time. But now the district attorney's office says the struggle here is to find out what is legitimately purchased and what is illegal dealings of these human remains. So at this time, he says that is completely new territory for his office. But as for this last incident that happened in July, they say that he has multiple charges against him now, one of them being dealing in proceeds of unlawful activities, as well as abuse of a corpse and receiving stolen property. Pauly was arrested and then released on a $50,000 bond. Live in Enola, I'm Jocelyn Howard, WGAL News.
State man accused of buying stolen human remains will be in court.
He was arrested back in July and faces his preliminary hearing later this morning. Kayla Schmidt joins us live in the ABC 27 newsroom with more on this story. Good morning to you, Kayla.
Good morning, James Alley. A preliminary hearing for 40-year-old Jeremy Pauly of Enola, Cumberland County will begin this morning at 9:30. Now, this is not for sentencing, but a hearing for the judge to determine if there's enough evidence to send the case to trial. Pauly was charged in late July with abuse of a corpse, receiving stolen property, and more. In June, East Pennsboro Township Police got a call about an Enola man reportedly buying body parts on Facebook. They spoke with Pauly and say he had 3 full skeletons and more than a dozen human skulls from a, quote, legitimate purchase. Then in July, another call from someone claiming they found buckets of human organs in a basement. Detectives and the coroner's office got a search warrant and found 3 to 5 gallon buckets containing various human remains. Police said they found Pauly was buying the remains over Facebook from a woman in Arkansas, $4,000 worth. The FBI and Arkansas State Police got involved, accusing the woman of stealing them from a morgue. Police and the FBI interviewed Pauly and say he admitted to buying the remains, saying he was selling them to others for profit. Now, prosecutors will present all evidence to a district judge. It will then be decided if there is enough for a trial and when one could begin. This morning's hearing again begins at 9:30 a.m. We will bring you the very latest on air and online. Live in the newsroom, Kayla Schmidt, ABC 27 News.
They really just said 3 to 5 gallon drums. And he just left them there at his old house because they said his former residence. Who spends $4,000 on body parts for financial gain for your museum or what have you, your little oddity shows, to then just leave it and get arrested for having it? Like, I don't get it. I understand art is art, and not all art is meant for everybody to get. I'm at a loss. Clearly, I'm over here stuttering and stammering. And I get it, because if the DA is snickering because, he's not even sure how they could prosecute and what their next steps are going to be other than court, of course, then how am I supposed to get it right? And I understand he received stolen parts. Not just stolen parts, I'm sorry, stolen body parts. Like somebody's family member was desecrated for him to have his art. And I get some people, they have autopsies, things are removed and things like that, but it's also not her personal property. It would have been the property of the mortuary and however they go about that. So I understand him receiving stolen property. The felony receiving stolen property of that because the price limit. $4,000 was the price. They have amounts of money before it becomes a felony. But then they got him for misdemeanor abuse of a corpse. But he didn't abuse a corpse. How are they going to proceed? What really can they do aside from the felony receiving stolen property? That's a good question. And naturally, you guys are going to have questions about this man. You're finding out that he's buying and selling body parts on Facebook from somebody that is actually stealing them from a mortuary, that he's making art with blood. He's a curator of whatever this Wander Coomer site is. I will link that in the description box below. But what's crazier is that he is the one in trouble. Oh yeah, that's it. Miss Scott, Candace Scott, the one that stole the body parts from a mortuary that she worked at and posted them online and actually accepted the money and shipped them. So far, there is literally not one charge being pressed on her. And the Arkansas Attorney General said they're not going to comment because it's still an open investigation. And it's like, are you kidding me? He's literally being charged. Sorry, guys. I have a house full of dogs, and anytime we move around, they're very protective of my grandparents, and they go crazy. But like I was saying, he's being charged with abuse of a corpse and accepting stolen property. But she is not being convicted of stealing the property or the desecration of a corpse. How do they explain this to family members? Sorry, Grandma Jane is missing because somebody that works here decided to take her skull and sell it and ship it all the way to Pennsylvania. But he's in trouble. When I call for reform in the justice system, you guys, this is just a prime example of what I mean. I'm in shock that he would even be so bold as to buy body parts, but more shocked that the person selling them and stealing them is not in jail. That's, my primary focus. I just want to give you guys just a little bit of information of what we're talking about here, okay? This is the actual list of body parts that Miss Scott sold. Half a human head, a whole human head minus the skull cap, 3 human brains with skull caps, a human heart, a human liver, a human lung, 2 human kidneys, a human female pelvis, a piece of human torso including a nipple, uno nipple. Nipples come in pairs. They come in pairs, but this guy only had 1 and 4 human hands. I paid $4,000 for these things. Somebody's family member is missing half of their head, and she's not being charged. Only him. Make it make sense. Somebody, please make this make sense. So at the time that I initially recorded this, it was actually excuse me, January 11th. And I decided to wait a little bit because he had court on January 11th. And I wanted to come back and, kind of give an update. So it wasn't going to be a short video. But because there is no update yet, it is going to be a shorter video. I will make sure that I post an update video as soon as I find something out. I also would love to take the time to thank every single one of you that leaves comments, whether it's positive or negative, informative, or, criticizing me. I really do appreciate all of you because, sometimes the criticism is very much necessary to help me be a better version of myself and come off rude. Bullying, however, is not, because certain comments can make people want to hurt themselves. But those of you that have really just been super supportive of me and my daughter, I mean, the comments that you guys are leaving Kiara is absolutely amazing. Supporting her for protecting her mom. I could not have raised better human beings. My son is actually in the comments too. I'm not going to tell you which one he is. But he's in the comments of one of my videos. I know he watches them. I love you, son. I miss you. Man, you guys have made this journey so much more worthwhile than I could have ever imagined. Those of you that have also disclosed, I'm so excited because of you guys that I'm stumbling over my words right now. But those of you that have actually disclosed that you too are suffering from chronic pain. I know that in our minds, we may feel that it'll never get better. It can only get worse. And that's only true if we allow it to be true. There are good days. There are bad days. But if you take the time and try not focusing on the pain and doing something that makes life worth it while listening to your body, I might add, it can change your whole life. I literally took CBT, the cognitive brain therapy, for pain. And I can honestly say that I'm more active than I have been in the last 3 years. I gained a significant amount of weight between January of 2020 up until, I would say, August of 2022. I went from 112 pounds to 160, I believe, 161. I'm only 5 feet. I'm not sure where I am weight-wise, but I can tell you that I went from a size 16 jeans, and then I just bought my first pair of size 10s a week and a half ago. So I'm really excited, but that also comes with, me actually listening to my body, doing the things that I can when I can. And then just, if I can't, I don't. One thing I do, whether I'm in pain or not, are these videos. I know I was slacking for a while there. I'm getting better with this consistency thing. But it's just going to be a wild ride. Like I said, we're going to have our good days and bad days, but we got this. We are strong individuals. I honestly would not wish this on anybody ever in life. Like the changes my kids grew up with because of this, and how they're watching my body get worse is ridiculous. And to see that I have so many wonderful supporters congratulating me, telling me I'm doing a good job, being able to identify with me, even just engaging in conversation in the comments. I love you all. That's all I can say is I love you all. I know I don't have a huge following, and that's okay. I can stay at 201, 207 followers and still just want to go all in and give you the very best of me every time I'm on. And that is exactly what I plan on doing. So thank you guys. I love you all. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.